Okay, we're here with Wrenn and Six. It just came out today. There's been two new historic anthology sets, and then the space set got an alchemy chunk. Of all the new fancy stuff, this is one of the more interesting ones. There is another card which, as you can see, I don't have the ability to craft it, but there's the... found it. World Weave. So every time you cast a creature, you seek a land into play. This is insane. If you have stuff like, I guess, Spelunking, anything that makes your tap lands enter untapped, your Amulet of Vigor kind of cards, then that's interesting here. But even without that, this is just really insane to me. Like, super, super insane. Another one is Ignoble Hierarch, the Jund Noble Hierarch. We got that one too, but it's restricted to certain color schemes, but just something to take note of. But other than that, a lot of the new fancy cards from all the three things we just got aren't particularly crazy, but they are interesting. I wouldn't say they're all like completely useless, but I don't know. We're free to play, so we'll get to them when we do, but I got to this one. So what is Wrenn and Six? 2 mana, 3 loyalty, +1, reanimate a land to your hand. -1 is deal 1 damage to anything, and then -7 is retrace on all instants and sorceries. So my dream of doing Gruul Storm things like I do with Colossus all the time, or just getting closer and closer, it's pretty unreliable to try to get this to ultimate. And when you do, you don't necessarily win. It is sort of like a value engine, if anything, which would make sense. I think a 2 mana Planeswalker having a game-winning loyalty ability would be ultimate, would be a little crazy. But the main idea is to sometimes, maybe more than sometimes, try to get to that -7 and then throw maybe a few lightning bolts at your opponent and whatnot, escape the wilds a few times, Mizzix Mastery for just any kind of value, gamble spam for ideal spells that you can then retrace. Seems pretty interesting too. Reanimating Strip Mine with the +1 over and over is kind of just game winning, so that just exists now, right? You just play Strip Mine and then you Strip Mine your opponent starting from the 3rd turn onwards, and they just have to play with however many lands they have left. They're just stuck on like 2 lands if you're doing that loop. Kind of lame, but it's something that is here now. And yeah, kind of a weird deck. Definitely a weird deck. As Godo, because I think that option as a game-winning line is something you should always consider, especially with all these ramp spells. And if I retrace ramp spells, it's pretty easy to get to that, I think. So we'll see what happens. Look at the value. Look at us go. Eternal Witness could just be Balagate Recovery, because Balagate Recovery is also a land. Could just be that. Probably should be. I'm not bouncing E-Witness or doing weird stuff with it, so... Two mana or 1? I'd rather just do this. Oh, the value. The value. Look at it go. Oh my goodness. Amazing. Look at it go. What the heck is that? Beginning of your end step, random non-food... get out of here. I don't care. So... this... Yep. That... this... that... I can almost... Oh, come on. With the dumb haste cards. Get out of here. Non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. So... I can blow up their land? Okay. So we have the weirdest strip mine of all time. So my opponent is quote-unquote a little stuck on the amount of lands they have available. Like they might just be forever at 4 lands. Potentially. But we're stuck only doing that, so it's definitely not something I can do every turn anyways, honestly. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. Yes! Yes! That's absolutely ridiculous. That's just so stupid. Yep, of course. As is tradition, let's get Mountain. Deal as little damage as possible to myself. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We have a -1. I haven't actually done this yet. I haven't actually done... I forgot I could even do that. Even though I just talked about it against Rafellos. Esper Sentinel. Other than that creature? Okay, so... Wait. Yeah. We're gonna... not care about Esper Sentinel as a 2/2. Well, it's always nice when people reset your loyalty. I always like to see that. Is that better than 2 lands this turn? One would say potentially yes. Yeah, it also means my opponent doesn't draw a card. So, yeah, this is definitely the right thing to do here. And there's no block. There's no block, there's just attack. Space, space, space. Draft, draft, draft. I wonder if I want this. Maybe. I wonder if I wanted to block that. Also, maybe. Arwen. Well. I'm getting rid of Tireless Provisioner at this point. Alright. We did it. We'll probably get rid of one of these. Yeah, get rid of those. Alright. Alright, yeah, this is pretty different from where we started, but with Magnus of the Moon, Blood Moon stuff, Stone Rain, I think maybe there's a better line there instead of Grape Shot, Underworld Breach, Mizzix's Mastery, whatnot. So let's see what happens now. I suppose I'll play Wrenn and Six turn 2 because I'm not actually ramping into anything. So I'll play a turn 2. Oh man, my thumb! Oh, my right thumb is just permanent popcorn, I swear. I mean, it feels good every time. Whoa, that's just a... Whoa. Okay. Is this the fabled Tifa deck that has more than just Tifa? Because that is nuts. So I can strip mine, and it's hard not to strip mine. My opponent could just be interested in conceding. If I go that route. So... They could just be interested in conceding this game because of that. I can function on 2 mana forever. So. Alright, this looks like us winning the game, but we'll see. Double strip mine is extremely difficult to get through. Especially with Azusa. So, Verge, Azusa, strip mine. And I do not believe I flame slash this. Yeah, I'm not gonna leave it. I'm just gonna surveil. Thirsting Roots. Do I need another land? Nope, not really. I can recast Wrenn and Six and strip mine again. They played a land I can Dust Bowl now. Okay, let's flame slash that. I don't like that. And then do this. And just go back to winning. I don't think there's anything they can do. Yeah. Strip mining every turn starting turn 3 is basically lights out, I feel. I'd be impressed if they could get through this. Actually, wait, now it's just completely over, isn't it? Because this is a non-basic. Perfect win? Hey, perfect win. Blew up all their lands? Am I inciting or expedition mapping? I guess I'll play the map. I don't know what exactly I'm drawing into, so... And we will play this. Alright. They have to function on 2 mana. Which they probably can. Hexproof Wait. As long as I control a planeswalker. Right. Of course. Alright. Well, there goes that then. There goes that. If I block Strip Mine and they don't have a land, I am winning. They don't have a land, so now we might actually just have won the game through that haste thing with the hexproof. How come I can never easily find Strip Mine? Help me. Okay, we also have Stone Rain. They did not draw a land for the turn, so this is probably over. Oh, I discarded it. That's fine. Wait, that draws a card on its own? The heck? That does? That's ridiculous. Wow. That's insane. Well. The other ones that cost one, you have to spend 1 minute to do the thing. Alright, well fortunately... Oh wait, no, that actually kills my commander. How are people doing this? How are people doing this? What is going on? This is crazy. How are people getting away with this? Like, actually. It's just nuts. Like, stop having things. Please. Just stop having things. For my sanity. Alright, we found another way to loop it. So, surely. Surely we get there now, right? Alright, yeah. Man, there's like so much to do with 2 mana. It's crazy. Stop having things. Just give up, please. Discard it, strike it, rich. Alright. One could argue that's what I should have played last turn, but I didn't. Correct. So, that's a 2/2. I have Obliterating Bolt for it. I'm gonna bolt that. Yeah, we're not gonna start mining with that card in play. Okay. That works out. Maybe. Okay, well, if they don't have a land, we do just win. Yeah, let's cast faithless looting here. Can they get out of this? It'd be a little impressive, but I suppose they're making a show of it. I'm gonna play Strip Mine, so if they ever just decide to put a land in play, I have Strip Mine. Just sitting there. Still with the land drop ideas. Jeez. Still with the lands. Go away, lands. Stop with the lands, please. Lands are banned. So we play... You... Seize the spoils. Yeah. There's not much I could play immediately right now, but... How many lands have we hit? 4? Alright, so if they don't have Counterspell, they lose again. And I'm gonna force that. I'm going to force them to have it. They don't have it. Alright. This is a parody I'm willing to make. I don't have to play this turn, but I might as well. Alright, we've been here before, except this is the exact same cycle we were at a second ago, except now we have a additional land in play, essentially. Contested war zone. Can't say I care about that. Alright. I don't think the Oracle would make my opponent concede. Of all the things we did, that's a strange one. I know it lets me play 2 lands a turn, and it quote-unquote breaks parity. I am now netting lands, and my opponent is still stuck on the same land amount. But, I think we're still just so far ahead through all of that stuff that just the 2/2 body alone is probably too much too. Well, they can't play their commander, just like the last person who had this commander. It just dies to my commander. Alright. That is notably not a, it's not an elf. So, stomping. Alright, burgeoning. Time to be extremely disgusting with Wrenn and Six. I could have actually just put that land to my hand because of burgeoning, but I don't have to do that. Oh, hey, it's Strip Mine. Alright, so we went from having a back and forth with our opponent to now we just instantly win. Looks like they did concede before they saw the strip mine. Yeah, we just locked ourselves out. But, again, it wasn't good enough anyways. The Blood Moon, Winter Moon wasn't good enough, and the green cards I could have cast were not good enough, so we were just always losing. We were always losing that game. Okay, well, gonna stop my opponent's vintage level play so I can keep playing with my own legacy level play. There you go. That's a sort of black and green, yep. So, let's play you, you, you. Sure. Sylvan Safekeeper, huh? That's a very interesting one, okay. I would imagine my opponent is very interested in sacking a land to keep this around. So they probably go ahead and do that. Turns our 2-mana spell into a land destruction spell. Wait, what? Okay, I did not expect them to do it the second time. I'm not going to lie to you. Did not expect that. I think I actually want that card. Alright, you have 2 lands. I blew up 2 of my opponent's lands, and them doing this has to go face. They can't even swing at Wrenn and Six. We can get rid of you. Sure. Oh, shoot. Wait, I wanted that card. Ooh. Rip. I wanted that card. Play Beseiju? Nah. I'll just keep it. That's fine. No, game's kind of just over. I don't think us casting Magus breaks anything, so I'm just going to cast it. We stopped our opponent's strip mine. Oh, okay, I guess it did do something. I don't think strip mine was going to do anything for my opponent, but there you go. That's not a land. Alright, yeah. Okay, so my initial idea to have this be some weird Colossus red-green storm thing that I keep trying to make work just isn't really there for this card, and that's okay. That's okay. So I had a lot of effectively really bad cards on my deck to start with because I was trying to do that, right? You could say it was obviously going to be bad, but you can say that about anything. You should at least try it first. It's the same thing with the entirety of the internet, particularly like Reddit and Facebook comments. People are like, "Oh, this card is so busted. It's so good. It's going to be the best thing ever." And then people get their hands on it for $55 hype price, and then they look like idiots because they bought $200 worth of cards, a whole playset of a dollar rare, a month later. So it was a little bit of a tangent there, but Reddit level hot takes. That's what I'm talking about. The storm thing was just not good. So I can't recommend that. Ended up taking it out and going more into the pseudo goofy land value thing where you're playing funny things that are really good with this, like specifically Strip Mine and Beseiju. You can just channel Beseiju endlessly. I wasn't running the red channel land. I don't think I was. Yeah. And I don't really care to run the red channel land. You can run it because it simply puts itself in the graveyard for this to grab, right? But you don't need to run every single value land. You just don't need to do that, especially the ones that are extremely slow and goofy and weird. Like, I wasn't even running the cycle lands. I was running one of them, right? Yeah, I actually crafted this card for this deck. So, because it gets found by fetch lands. If that wasn't the case, I would not do that. But yeah, your fetch lands can find this. You can run all of and feel kind of cool that you did that. I do kind of like these two, the 1 mana ones from what is that, Onslaught. Like, these are okay. I think at some point in Wrenn and Six life, it was one of these were played. Maybe it was the black one. I don't know. But I think one of these actually did see play, and it's not like they're wrong. They are just a bit goofy to me, and it is not free to play these. You want to play this as quickly as possible. So if these are not your turn 1 land, they really just don't look great. They don't look good turn 2, turn 3, 4, 5. Like, it's just... Actually, maybe like 5 or 6, it starts to be kind of just fine to do that. But if you ever want to make a land drop every turn, which I kind of feel like you want to make a land drop every turn, it could eventually be that, like, this is the land you just play for the turn, and then you can't cycle it anymore. It's just in play, right? I saw people, like, if I added these two and ran Cleansing Wildfire, there's another one from Final Fantasy or whatever. You can run indestructible lands. There's 4 or 5? How many? Okay, there's... No, there isn't one. So there are actually 4 of them. Oh, wait, this isn't one either, right? No, there's 3. So you have these 3, and Cleansing Wildfire with the other Cleansing Wildfire that, again, I think came out of Final Fantasy. And you can target this and get a land, draw a card, and keep your original land. It feels really weird to do that, but on the bright side, if you blow up a land that isn't indestructible, you can just pick it up with Wrenn and Six. It doesn't ramp you at all, but I suppose that's a line you could take. I didn't take it. It didn't feel like a good idea to me. The payoff is kind of significant, right? You played essentially a really jank version of just, why didn't you just cast Rampant Growth, you know? So it is a little weird. It does reset Beseiju. If you played Beseiju earlier in the game and you need it in hand, you can now blow it up with your cleansing whatever, Wildfire. So, like, you could go boop, boop, boop. Cleansing Wildfire, and the other one destroy. Oh, I thought it was 2 mana. Ooh. Okay, I guess the other one is 3 mana. maybe not that big of a deal. If you're playing the first one, it's probably okay to play the second one. No, I don't know. But in general, just something to think about, right? Just something to think about. This deck has a ton of ramp, as you can see. Like, ramping into no giant scary threat does seem a bit weird, but when you're taking the lands and pitching them to spells, it looks a little bit more reasonable. You could probably put in some kind of typical run-of-the-mill mono green, essentially giant creature package, Tooth and Nail, Eldrazi nonsense. You probably could do that. Maybe Tooth and Nail is slightly better than this because Tooth and Nail is a 9 mana thing, and this is essentially an 11 mana thing. So you could go that route, but I felt like I just didn't want to do that because a lot of decks that are green, a lot of other green commanders just do it way better. So you might not have to do that here. Just play, giant green things or giant red things, whatever. Like a Tali. Just play a Tali. Like, you don't have to do this. I don't think splicing between the Wrenn and Six cute value engine of picking up lands that you discarded to, like, I don't know, Faithless Looting or whatever, is gonna play too well with the giant creature stuff in, like, the same deck. You just go more in on Wrenn and Six ideas instead, which, again, is what I was trying to do with the weird Grape Shot combo nonsense that didn't work out. But yeah, so Strip Mine spamming is excellent. So if you start to do this starting turn 3 forever, you're probably going to win. I don't think I ever lost attempting that avenue. Just play this turn 2, and then for the rest of the game, Strip Mine. You and your opponent are stuck at 2 mana, essentially, or maybe even 1 or 2. It depends, whoever's on the play, draw. You can just essentially do that. If you have Chrome Mox, or actually even Mox Amber, can help you bleed through that. Like, if you go Mox Amber into, I don't know, specifically Burgeoning, then you could start playing and netting mana in play while you're still Strip Mine locking. But just locking your opponent with Strip Mine is enough to, in my opinion, make a fair amount of people just concede immediately, even if they do somehow get out of it. And there's a lot you can just do when you have the Strip Mine lock going. Right? You can still, with the other 2 lands that you have, cast like Lightning Strike, Lava Coil, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Axe, and just attack the creatures that have resolved. So then you can just keep doing this, and then if you ever get to the ultimate, then you have that going for you as well. But it's not like you're denying your opponent. If you and your opponent are just sitting at 7 cards and you keep locking them at 2 lands until you ultimate this, you didn't necessarily win, but your deck is designed in some way, even if it's sort of incidentally designed, in some way to be fine with that, and your opponent definitely isn't. So, that is funny. Mana Dorks, I did see in some Wrenn. I did not win a single Wrenn and Six mirror, and as you can imagine, there was a lot of that today because everyone wants to play the new commanders. There's a lot of mirrors. I didn't win any of them. I wouldn't say that's because my list was like worse than my opponent's. No one really has a refined list at this point, I would say. But the main issue I was running into in the mirror was I was getting hosed by really good openers, and I wasn't able to catch up. Right? I never even saw like Land Destruction Loop Wrenn and Six opponent. It was just they had an Ice Till Explorer, and I didn't, and I lost. That's kind of just how the Wrenn and Six matchups ran out every single time. Where like Blood Moon and Winter Moon or Stone Rain just wouldn't have ever helped me get back in it if I was behind or something. The Wrenn and Six mirror is a lot of staring at each other until someone finds one of their 10 really good game-breaking cards, and then they use that to win. I still thoroughly enjoy and believe in the Godo out as just a thing to do. In fact, I played a Helm of the Host a couple games as just an equipment, and my opponents were like extremely hyper vigilant after I had played it. Like, oh, at any point I could lose to Godo, even though it's still like an 11 mana investment in the turn I cast it. So it's kind of funny. And any other kind of thing. Like, casting this is still just okay. I think I actually copied a Pock in one game, and my opponent was over it. 2 Pocks is a lot better than 1, but not by much, because the first one is still insane. But all in all, this is kind of a cool commander. If you do want to land destruction spam with the good land destruction spells, mostly just Stone Rain and Strip Mine, really, then I think you're probably better off playing, like, Azusa, or I see Gitrog Monster as another one. Reanimating Strip Mine is really the only, in my opinion, the only really significant way to Strip Mine or land destruction lock your opponent, right? Like, shoot, I just called it a land, Strip Mine lock, not land destruction lock. So it really is just Strip Mine for me that can keep up with what Historic Brawl is doing. And Blood Moon and Winter Moon are essentially land destruction spells. You know, I mean, if your opponent doesn't deal with it, it will essentially blow up more than 5 lands, potentially, in any given game. But I did like the opportunity to have an early Stone Rain, so I did end up running this card. But this does look weird without Mana Dorks, right? There's a lot of 3s, but we're always interested in casting a 2, so the 1-mana Mana Dorks don't really help you cast a 2-drop. You just simply play 2 lands and then you start doing this. So the Mana Dorks are a little weird in that way, but that might just be perfectly fine, right? You probably can play the Mana Dorks anyways. They do get significantly better if you do have Strip Mine, because then you're essentially netting mana every time you play a Mana Dork. It can also sort of block for Wrenn and Six, if that matters. And then, you know, with the Strip Mine loop, you're actually netting mana basically every time you're doing it, because you're always going to have some kind of Mana Dork if you're running all, like, 45 that you can. But I didn't feel like I needed them, right? I didn't feel like I needed them. And we've certainly played them in every single green deck, because that's, for the most part, what you probably should be doing. I mean, even Tifa likes them, and Tifa's a 2-drop. But Tifa likes them because it lets you leave up a protection spell on turn 2. So they have a lot more value there. But yeah, I think this is a cool commander. I do. And it would be interesting to see crazy stuff happen with it that, for whatever reason, wasn't on my radar this time, or anyone else's. I'll just say that the Wrenn and Six opponents were playing almost the same pile as me. I stopped running the treasure 4-mana cards and started running more tormenting voice effects, because without Mana Dorks, it is a bit of a while to get to 4-mana cards, right? For a green deck, obviously. So I ended up running those instead, especially early, like pitching a land on turn, what was that, 3 or whatever? Just felt like a better thing to do on average. This really is, most of the time, the thing you play on turn 2. So that is something to definitely think about. It's not like you're playing Explore on turn 2 every time. Which did make some of these rampant growth effects a little weird. Or just 2-mana cards in general, maybe a bit strange, just because of that. But if you're ever on, like, the draw, and you need to kill your opponent's, I would say, Tameo or something, with a Braid, you're going to really wish you had a Braid in your deck, right? So that's something to think about. The other new commander, this is really funny, it happened a couple times, just gets completely totaled by this deck. I don't think this is very good. In general, it feels like you're just playing Tifa, except your payoff is sometimes as good as Azusa, but you just weren't playing Azusa, right? You play this turn 2 like you would, say, Azusa with a Mana Dork or something, and then your payoff is like a 4-drop or a 6-drop on turn 3 or something, but Azusa kind of already does that. So I don't really know. You can play it on turn 1 with a Mox, like a Chrome Mox. Maybe that's interesting, but I still don't think it is. With Mox Opal, wait, can we see? Yeah, Mox Opal is now in the game, so if you have all of the Mox or Mox Amber, Mox Opal, and then Tree of Tails, turn 1, then you can play this and be kind of set to play a turn 2 6 drop if the stars align, or a turn 2 like 5 drop or something. But I don't know. I feel like Azusa's really trying to do the same thing, except it has a lot more resilience because you can't just kill it. Azusa leaves behind what it was interested in doing, essentially being like a Summer Bloom, or whatever that banned card is. Summer Bloom in the command zone, sort of what Azusa's doing. And this is trying to survive, and I think you're better off skipping that whole idea and just cast Azusa instead. But hey, it's an elf, so you can play it in an elf deck, I guess, and do elf things. It doesn't have to be your commander. You can just play it as a mana dork, right? It's like, oh, it's a really scary mana dork. If you have 4 forests, it's just like another version of that other thing that taps for 4 mana, the Eternalize card, the whatever it's called. So, like, I don't know. Not exciting. And specifically against us, which is kind of why I wanted to bring it up in the first place, you can just kill it infinitely. So your opponent cannot cast this commander if your commander is Wrenn and Six. It's kind of funny. It's not the case with Ragavan, because Ragavan can dash, and they don't have to play Ragavan. So, also Ragavan can still enter on turn 1 on the play, and then you look pretty miserable regardless. But yeah, we got all the new artifact lands and all the, I guess this thing now, all the swords and whatnot. I think we saw the black-green sword a couple times. I don't really know if I like the black-green sword that much. Not that one. Yeah, it's like, you untap your lands, and that's kind of cool, but the discard side is whatever. The protection from black is pretty nice, I'll give you that, but protection from green, sure, you don't get stonewalled by the 80% of the meta being green, but still, protection from green isn't really an answer to green decks being like the most prolific thing, so just something to think about. I did craft Eternal Witness, and then I realized I should probably just play Balagit Recovery, because that can just be a land drop, and this can't, so maybe I'll just play that instead. In, bounce effects like Bant Flicker, that's probably better, but not here. But yeah, all in all, it's a pretty solid commander. I like it. It did feel like I was a bit light on things to do, which is not a good sign, and something, if I'm wanting to play this again, I'll have to keep in mind. I did feel a little light on things to really do, and I didn't really like that, especially in this color scheme and this strategy, so just something to work on, right? But I was in and out of the deck builder, fine-tuning it the whole time, and that's just what I landed on. But yeah, so can recommend. It is solid, right? There's plenty of ways to find Strip Mind every game. There's a bunch of expedition map effects and whatnot, Sylvan Scrying, all that jazz. So it's, it's got stuff going on for it that's pretty cool, I suppose. But let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.